let's talk about what you came here to talk about today, Jordan. We're going to talk about L'Jarius Sneed first off, because my goodness, is that guy having a year. You told me before we started the podcast he had a grade of 67.8. That's a PFF grade for this Falcons game, but he has an even better stat that we haven't even talked about.
Yeah. Friend of the program and Arrowhead Report fellow Sam Hayes gave me this
Mm-hmm.
info. So Sneed's overall grade, 67.8 for the game, was his fourth best of the year. His pass rush grade was 79.5, so basically 80, which is the best of the season as a corner. And he's fourth amongst all rookies and first amongst rookie defensive backs in overall grade. So, like, the dude, I'm working on an article right now. We're recording this on Monday night. It'll be up on Tuesday. He's the need for Sneed is legitimate. Like, he can do everything. He was on the outside, then he got hurt, then he came back and was thrown into the slot. He can rush the passer now, which is something I didn't really think
Yeah.
he'd be used as or really be able to do and succeed at. So, I mean, there's no bad things I can really say about that guy at all.
He's been playing very well. As you mentioned, I've been very impressed with his versatility in the outside and the inside. But that
Mm-hmm.
was why Brett Veach drafted him. He was listed as a
Yeah.
defensive back. He played safety almost his whole career at
Yep.
Louisiana Tech. So, I mean, the dude is really good in the defensive backfield, and he's proven it this year. As a fourth round pick, I told you this before we started the podcast, and really during the draft, we were
Mm-hmm.
talking very frequently during the draft. I said, "Who is this L'Jarius Sneed guy? I've never heard of this guy." But now
Mm-hmm.
he's the only person we're talking about, it seems like, on this defensive secondary.
Yeah, no, he's awesome. And it's not like Bashad Breeland's bad or
Mm-hmm.
Charvarius Ward hasn't had good moments
Right.
or Rashad Fenton isn't a smart player, but Sneed's just always around the ball. He had a role in that forced fumble. He
Yep.
gets interceptions. He gets passes defended. People keep challenging him and he keeps making them pay. I mean, he's a guy who has been doing everything. I hate to sound like a broken record, but the guy just is fantastic. And there's really no bad thing. He finally gave up that touchdown against the Saints. And I was like, well, I mean, if it was a Ben Neiman or something where he got torched and we could say, oh, there's typical blah, 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 that was the first time we saw L'Jarius Sneed
Mm-hmm.
had something like bad happen to him. So it's something where the sample size is obviously still kind of something you want to be cognizant about and
Of
aware of.
course.
But I mean, we've been burned by young cornerbacks who look good before. But overall, it's super impressive start to his career.
And that was kind of the take that Connor took when we were asked on our mailbag last time about,
Mm-hmm.
is L'Jarius Sneed the best cornerback on this team? And as of now, we would both probably say yes. But the way the question was worded, I think I leaned further to no. But I mean, you obviously think that L'Jarius Sneed is the best cornerback on this team. After watching the game, have you kind of swayed your opinion at all? Because I know that at the end there, when we were talking, you were like, oh well, maybe maybe with the sample size, yeah. Maybe
Yeah.
yeah, I would probably go to no. But are you more firm in now your opinion?
Yeah. Logically, I want to say that he's not because Connor did make a great point that he just has to do it for a prolonged period of time. He has
Right.
to do it more for an extended period. But the guy makes so many plays and
Hmm.
he has the physical traits. He clearly mentally understands what's going on. He's been tested. He has answered every single time. I think he's the best corner on the team. I really do.
I love the doubling down. That's what we need on this podcast is more doubling down. But I think it says a lot about L'Jarius Sneed too, because when it comes to rookies on this defense, you don't see a ton really. We're going to talk about a lot of
Yep.
rookies on this defense, but Steve Spagnuolo is kind of old school in the terms of if you have a need, you don't want a rookie to fill it. And I understand that. I totally get that. But we've seen L'Jarius Sneed come in and fill a need. That was an
Hmm.
unnecessary rhyme right there. Unintentional, I should say. Sneed filling a need as a rookie. And not only is he filling a need in the secondary, but he's going all over the place in the secondary. You mentioned he's going to the slot since he returned from his injury. He was playing outside during Bashad Breeland's suspension. I can't get over the fact how good he's played as a fourth round pick at that value in the draft. I think that that's kind of the most surprising thing is, yeah, you expect, to do well later on in the draft,
Hmm.
obviously, especially if you have a good GM like Brett Veach to know these guys are there. But to have a guy like L'Jarius Sneed come out of Louisiana Tech and perform on opening day, who between you and I, we're like, okay, well, L'Jarius Sneed starting. You were kind
Yes.
of high on him, but I was like, all right, it looks kind of sketchy. All right, we started looking at the
Sure.
opening day cornerbacks. You see L'Jarius Sneed is the second cornerback. Okay, I don't know about that, but now he's come to the point where okay, L'Jarius Sneed is the second cornerback, maybe the one cornerback. That's
Mhm.
okay. That's looking pretty tasty right now.
Yeah, man, I was talking to Craig Stout of Arrowhead Pride. Super cool dude. I love Craig.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
May or may not. I'm just gonna say we're gonna have Craig on the pod during that bye week.
Yep.
After the end of the regular season, he's gonna come talk some defense, maybe some special teams. He's their
Mm.
newly appointed special teams ace. But anyway, I was talking to Craig. He pulled some numbers for me. Sneed's like a 55-45 split right now between slot and
Wow.
being on the boundary. Obviously, earlier in the season, he started off on the boundary and went from there. He came back. He's been playing in the slot, and it has allowed guys like Juan Thornhill to not be overextended because when he is in the slot, meaning L'Jarius Sneed, Tyrann Mathieu doesn't have to fill that role because if we remember
Yes.
at the end of last season, Kendall Fuller was that third safety role.
Mm-hmm.
Tyrann Mathieu was the slot corner on several snaps. I mean, if I recall correctly, he lined up more in the slot than he did at his traditional safety role down the
Mm-hmm.
stretch. Like it was ridiculous. So he's now allowed to be used as a chess piece, as me and Craig talked about. He can do everything. And L'Jarius Sneed is like that secondary chess piece where he could be on the slot, he could be on the boundary. Hell, really, he could probably even play a little bit of safety if the Chiefs needed him to because he did in college. But the guy is not only making his play better, but he's helping the guys around him do better as well.
That's a very good point. I didn't even think about the aspect that he brings, to Tyrann Mathieu to play his natural safety
Mhm.
position. But if you start thinking about, Tyrann Mathieu and L'Jarius Sneed, their play styles are becoming very similar to each other. The
Yes.
versatility, the ability on
Mhm.
the pass rush, and that's exciting. That's going to be exciting for Chiefs fans moving forward. I know I'm excited.
Yeah, I can't wait. And like the thing is, there's reason to be excited about several of the Chiefs rookie
Yeah.
defenders. Like we're going to talk about probably Willie Gay Jr. next. He's a guy to be excited about. And
Hmm.
L'Jarius Sneed has just exceeded expectations in such a fashion that I don't think there's one person in Chiefs Kingdom right now, or analyst or fan, whatever, that doesn't like what L'Jarius Sneed's doing. He's been phenomenal.
Right. Yeah, bit.ly/RTK shop. You can get your Need for Sneed shirt. If we've got you fired up for L'Jarius Sneed like we are, you got to go grab that shirt.